Hi Sagittarius, welcome back to the Astrology 33 channel. This is your April 2026 tarot reading. Thank you to those of you who have liked, viewed, shared, and subscribed to the channel. I appreciate all of that. For those of you new to the channel, as far as what we have from us, it's a 12 card spread with each card representing a different house of the zodiac. Starting with your sign, Sagittarius is the first house all the way through to Scorpio representing the 12th. Once we get through all that, we'll pull an oracle card as well for some additional insight. As far as the decks being used this month, for the main tarot deck, we have the Tarot of the New Vision, and for the oracle deck, we'll be using the Wisdom of the Oracle. But we're actually going to start the reading off by rolling those astrology guys we have in front of us to get an idea of where your focus should be as far as that goes. All right, we have Uranus. So currently Uranus is still in Taurus, which is your sixth house of health, work, and daily routines, but it actually is going to be moving into Gemini on the 25th of April, and that's your seventh house of partnerships, relationships, and contracts. So we'll keep that in mind. We have 9, so ninth house energy for you guys is Leo. Astrologically speaking, it's a little quiet in that area of the zodiac right now, but in general, ninth house points to philosophy, higher learning, and foreign affairs. And we have your sign. So yeah, could just be saying that you guys might be a little bit more self-focused this month. Astrologically speaking, your area of the zodiac's a little quiet right now as well, but like we said, could just be saying you're a little bit more self-focused this month. So keep all that in mind as we go through the main spread. In the first house, which generally points to personality, self-awareness, and appearance, we have the Lovers. So this is Gemini energy here. So yeah, so this could just be saying that for some of you, even though I was just saying you might be a little bit more self-focused, seeing this in the first house could also just be saying that maybe part of that focus is because the ultimate goal might be for you to actually partner up with someone, right? But at the same time, I feel like this is saying that, especially if you've made the mistakes in the past, right, where you've been in connections that haven't really had that long-term potential. Now this could just be saying you're really going a little bit more inward to see what you could do on your end to actually bring in a more long-lasting connection towards your lives. This could also just be saying that things might be worked out behind the scenes for you guys to an extent too. So you might feel like some events taking place might feel a little bit more fated than usual. All right, in the second house, which generally points to possession, self-worth, and finances, we have the Three of Pentacles. So this is actually a Capricorn energy here, which is actually your natural second house energy. And seeing this here could just be saying that maybe you guys are building for the long term, right? So maybe there's something that you've invested in for a while, and now you're actually putting the work into it to actually see it come to fruition. So for some of you, this could be, investing in your home environment. For others of you, it could just be just anything that you feel like is going to have that long-term potential to actually be something that you're pleased with as well. In the third house, we have the Magician. So generally speaking, third house points to communication, short journey, siblings. And to see this energy here, it could just be saying that when it comes to your communication, you might be very well received this month. We do have Pluto in your third house of communication, so that's a powerful indicator when it comes to communication. But yeah, it could just be saying that maybe that's the spark behind it, right? But in general, you guys do tend to feel comfortable with communication as is anyway. And we did have Mercury retrograde just wrap up, so it's still in its post-shadow period for a bit, but around the middle of April, that's going to be fully clear as well. So yeah, could just be saying that when it comes to your communications, you might feel like you're being well received this month. Around the middle of April, Mercury will go into your fifth house, so that could be part of that energy as well, because that's more of a creative energy. In the fourth house, which points to home, roots, and family, we have the Page of Wands. So yeah, this could just be saying that maybe you guys are just in the mood to explore a little bit, right? So even if you're in a familiar environment, right, maybe this is saying you're going to go to some different places that you might have passed by in your day-to-day routines, but for whatever reason never actually went into the places, right? You might say, you know what, let me actually see what's going on with these places. So, and that could be what might help you cross paths with someone that might be significant in the long term for you as well. Yeah, I feel like this is saying you have that energy of wanting to explore. All right, in the fifth house, which in general points to romance, creativity, and children, we have Judgment. So yeah, so for some of you, this could actually just be bringing something back around from the past that maybe it couldn't get off the ground for whatever reason in the past. Now you might actually feel like the energy for it to move forward is more well supported. And again, like we said, given that for you guys, fifth house energy is Aries, we have quite a bit of energy there right now too, right? We have Neptune, Saturn, obviously the sun got there recently. There's going to be the new moon in Aries on the 17th. I mentioned Mercury's going to be there around the middle of the month, so plenty of energy going through there. Mars will be there on the 9th of April, so it's going to be so much energy lighting up your fifth house that it would make sense in that regard that something could come back around. But yeah, that's what I see with that. All right, for your sixth house of work, health, and daily routines, we have the Seven of Pentacles. So this is Taurus energy here. So I feel like this is somewhat connected to that third, or Three of Pentacles energy, rather, in the second house, saying that while there is this long-term goal that you've been building toward, right, there could also be a part of you that might start to feel a little bit exhausted by it too, right? Where you're like, okay, so maybe you have your doubts. So let's just say, again, since I used the example of investing, right? Let's say this is something that you have been investing in for a long time. And if we take that at surface level, meaning like a financial investment, right? Like all the things going on in the world, that investment might have lost its value to an extent, right? Or it's just not growing at the rate it was before. So there could be a little bit of a part of you in that aspect that's like, is this really worth continuing down this path or not? So I feel like for the most part, will probably be some temporary doubt, but I feel like this is something that can come up to the surface for you this month. All right. In the seventh house, which points to partnerships, contracts, and relationships, we have the Page of Swords. So yeah, so this could be another indicator of what I was saying with the Lovers too, where maybe you guys are going to be putting yourselves back out there. If so, might be one of those cases where it's been a while since you've done so. So, you could just be feeling like you have to get your feet under you again to where you feel comfortable doing so. But at least it looks like there's some curiosity toward doing so. All right. In the eighth house, which points to death, rebirth, intimacy, and investments, we have the Death card. So this is the natural ruler of the eighth house. Typically, this is a Scorpio energy. And technically, it's going to be in May, but there will be full moon in Scorpio on the 1st of May. So this could be pointing to that cycle in particular. But more than anything, I feel like this is saying that for some of you might want to make some changes around that area of life. Maybe you've realized that, okay, so like I said, not necessarily fully related to what we were saying with the sixth house, where you might feel like you've hit a bit of a dead end or a brick wall, but more so where you're reconsidering how you invest, right? So it doesn't necessarily have to mean just financial investments, how you invest your time, your energy, your resources, right? So there could be some reevaluating how you go about that. In the ninth house, which we saw come up with the dice as well, and that's your natural rulership, we have the 10 of Wands. So Sagittarius energy here. So yeah, so maybe there's this part of you, right, that's looking at your beliefs, your views around certain things and wondering if they really still fit, right? Where you might start to feel like those beliefs might be weighing you down more than anything. So maybe that's where we're seeing some shedding, right? Where I mentioned you might be a little bit more focused on yourselves. We see the Lover's energy. Maybe there's a bit of a heavier energy you guys have been carrying with you for a while that you could be releasing throughout the month. Speaking of releasing heavy energy, in the 10th house, we have the Sun. So yeah, so career and social status, to me, this says that you're going to be a bit more noticed this month. I feel like there's going to be a lighter, playful energy that you're giving off to people, in a positive sense that, people are going to maybe gravitate toward you. But also, just more so than that, I feel like this is saying that there's going to be a level of trust that people have with you as well. And that could be going back to what we were saying with the Magician in the third house, to where, when people come across that kind of energy, they do tend to be more trustworthy, right? There's less of a thought of ulterior motives behind their actions, things along those lines there. So that's a positive for sure. All right. In the 11th house, which generally points to friendships, groups, hopes, and wishes, we have the Empress. So yeah, I feel like this is saying, and it could connect to what we were just saying with the 10th house. Like this is saying that people might gravitate toward you this month. I feel like this is saying you wouldn't have to really put much effort in on your part, just by being who you are. I feel like that's going to just shine a light that would bring people your way. But this also to me says that you do have that ability to just, if you'd rather withdraw, right, stay a little bit more in your home environment and just relax, you have that ability too, right? And as a mutable sign, maybe you view it as the best of both worlds, right? Where if you want to go out and be sociable, you can. If you want to just withdraw, come back to your home environment and relax, you could do that as well. All right. And in the 12th house energy, which typically points to spirituality, blind spots, and mental health, we have the Tower. So yeah, so for you guys, 12th house energy is Scorpio, and we did talk about how technically it would be in May, but there's going to be that full moon there. So maybe that might be a pivotal moment for you guys in some ways, where you might finally shed some thoughts, beliefs that you might have had around a certain situation. But if that's the case, I feel like it's saying that would be more for the positive, right? So maybe you had a vision of how things needed to be, how they should be, how they have to be, and now you could be releasing that through events happening around you. But we'll see what the Oracle card adds to the mix. So, like I mentioned, we're going to pull a card from the Wisdom of the Oracle. I'm just going to give this a few shuffles, then we'll cut the deck and pull a card. Alright, we'll take this card here, get this out of the way, and we'll see what you guys got. Alright, we have Here and Now. There's the artwork, and the number is 32. So we'll see what this has to say. Alright, Essential Meanings says being fully present in the moment, living one day at a time. So that alone makes me think of what we were saying with the sun energy, but we'll see what else it says. The Oracle's message says everything happens in the now and the present. Only this moment counts. You have what it takes to handle anything today if you let go of the need to look into the future or reflect on the past. Be present and notice what is going on right now. This very moment has the potential for you to create miracles in your life. So definitely a positive message there for sure. And again, like I said, I feel like that's pointing more to what we were discussing with the sun energy there. The relationship message says it's easy to yearn for a love affair or friendship you may not have right now, one that is more romantic, more fun, more reliable, more passionate. The good old days are gone and a new day has dawned. Let your heart trust that you have everything you need right now, whether you have the relationship you desire or not. Tomorrow is beyond your reach. Yesterday cannot return. The now is all that is available to you. Stay present and aware that in this moment, as you cherish and approve of your beautiful self, you are a magnet for love. Spirit is madly in love with you right now. Did you know that? Turn to Spirit to feel the joy of love in the here and now. So, definitely an interesting message there because to me, given that that was in a relationship context and seeing the Lover's card in your first house, that could be a positive message there. So, hopefully that resonated. And the prosperity message says, what you are working on is golden, and your efforts will leave a powerful legacy. Focus not on meeting a goal in the far off future, but on creating your dream now, releasing your desire for an outcome, and owning that it already exists. It will appear in the material world as if by magic. Claim your prosperity now. The essence is more important than the form. When you are immersed in prosperous thoughts, you automatically tune in to a sense of timelessness and unlimited potential. You can act as if, in spite of the temporary outer conditions, you are prosperous at this moment. What you think now becomes your reality. Stay present. So yeah, that definitely sounds like a positive message there, given what we were talking about with that Seven of Pentacles energy, right? Where if you might start to feel some temporary doubt creep in, I feel like that would definitely be a positive message for you guys to take in. So hopefully that resonated for you guys, and we'll wrap up there. All right, bye.